All right, give it a go. Like, practice your names.
Nicole, Myra, Janai.
Okay, so we're going to get started. So last night you read chapter 4 and 5, and we just finished chapter 4 and 5. What would you like to talk about in the book? Go ahead, Nicole.
I wanted to say what chapter chapter 5 is about.
Tell us.
Because
Can you tell us that page, please? Page 20, right?
20,
All right, that way Myra and I. Okay.
So she fall off the plane because the rope
It got caught on her leg, didn't it?
Yeah,
It knocked her in.
caught, and they and then
That was in chapter 4, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're in the water.
Yeah, she fall down, but then she wanted to take off her hair off the way, but the wind was like so too strong.
Yes. And they're in the salt water,
Yeah.
and it's blowing it into her eyes, too. So how is she feeling right now?
She's feeling scared.
What do you think?
Scared.
Freaked, right? And how do we know?
Because it's telling her that
Yeah.
like right here, like
Yeah, read us that last part. It says, you found it. You just pointed to it. Read us that part.
Casey suddenly felt very small and very alone. She buried herself into Uncle Bill's arm and burst into tears.
I think I would, too. What would you do, Janai?
Cry.
Me, too. What about you, Myra?
I would just be a surprise face because I just fell off a plane.
It's pretty crazy. Your plane has crashed. You're in the Pacific Ocean. There's a storm coming.
Yeah, and I would be scared and crying because what if animals are there in the water and stuff?
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I mean, there's nice animals, but in the Pacific Ocean, there are also sharks. So I'm sure, and jellyfish. So I'm sure she's worried about all of those things. And think about being in the water like that with a storm coming.
Yeah.
Lightning and thunder and rain.
Yeah, but good thing she has life jacket.
Yes, and food, and her Uncle Bill.
Yeah, she has her cooler.
Yeah, good thing they brought that along, right?
Yeah, even her CD player.
Yeah, she did have that, but I don't know how that's going to work in the water.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, anything else you want to talk about? Sorry. Anything in chapter 4? Good thing Uncle Bill is so calm, right? Don't you think he's pretty calm?
Yeah, he's pretty calm but scared.
He is, but he's not showing it, is it? Because he knows he has to keep her calm.
Yeah, it doesn't say really nothing about him, but it just...
It does on page 22. Because he sees that plane, right? So he set off the emergency beacon. Do you know what an emergency beacon is?
No.
You might have thought the word was bacon.
It's like a lights.
It's a light, and it sends like an electronic
Yeah.
signal. Is that, yeah?
Every time when I hear beacon, it reminds me the beacon of Minecraft.
Yes, in that video game, right? Mm-hmm. So a beacon is just a signal. It sends out a signal so they can be rescued. So look at that last sentence on page 22. Myra, read that for us.
He realized that staying calm was their only hope.
Yeah, he knows that if they start freaking out,
It won't help.
no, it won't help. And right now they have to stay calm and have hope, right? Hope that they'll be rescued.
Yeah.
So look at chapter 6. So what we did just now is what we talked about yesterday. We used the book to talk about things in the story. Does that make sense? So just like when you take tests and it says what question is answered in paragraph 4 or what is the idea of paragraph 4?
We can go back
Always.
and read what they're asking us.
To find that evidence, right, of our thinking and to answer questions. One thing I noticed that Nicole did, she went right to the part where she wanted to talk about it, right? You said, oh, I want to talk about chapter 5 and this part. And the minute I said, well, how is she feeling? We all knew to go back to that part. And then you said, well, how's Uncle Bill feeling? We're not sure. And remember what I did? I took you right to that part, didn't I? All right, let's go to chapter 6 because they're really floating out there, right?
Yeah.
So they're waiting to be rescued. Read the title of that chapter.
Signs of life.
Yeah, so Uncle Bill sees this plane in the distance, right? And he sees it, but he's like, oh man, I hope they can find us. Because like you said, they're really small and the ocean's really big. Yeah, they're tiny like ants. Turn to page 27.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
like,
that's no plane. Haha. Okay, so in chapter 7, read that title of that chapter.
the silver lining.
So there's a saying that every cloud has a silver lining. And all that means is even when you have a big storm cloud, there's that silver lining of hope. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like the light you just said, kind of like that.
Yeah, but it's more of like just a saying that even when things are really bad, you should always have hope. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when they say the silver lining, they're just talking about hope.
The hope diamond.
Or let's hope we'll be rescued. That
Mhm.
feeling of hope. And not being so like, oh, we're going to die. We're never going to get rescued. Because that, like you said, Janai, that won't help. So they're scared. They're desperate. They've seen planes come and the planes haven't come to rescue them. And then they had the whale, which you saw in the picture.
Yeah,
And that's a huge creature, so they're feeling kind of nervous and pretty freaked out. And look at the sun in that picture. Yeah, it's on the horizon. And they notice that the sun is getting lower because now, yeah, it's going to get dark. And no one wants to be out in the ocean at night, right? So will someone find them? Will they be saved?
Yeah.
Yes. So turn to the beginning of chapter 6 to read and find out how they're saved.
Can I start where I was because I already read it?
Mm-hmm. Make sure you're able to talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to stop while we're reading. Is that okay? And then I'll restart it like I did yesterday.